welcome to Maverrik Live. I'm your host Luke 2, and today I'm joined by Josh Sylvester.
Hey everyone.
How you doing today? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. Nice weather.
I was going to say, are you enjoying the heat? Is it?
Well, sunburn. I'm like one of them typical English people that moan. If it's too hot, it's too hot. If it's too cold, it's too cold.
It's like always raining, so I can't. Yeah, I don't like it.
I'm miserable at that.
How are you feeling about the nights?
What do you mean?
As in, like,
oh, I can't sleep because of the heat.
Yeah. I had that yesterday. It was.
I find I'm having like it went from a duvet to like a sheet, and now it's to
It's just they have a fan on you, just trying to survive
just
away
let the
through
mosquitoes eat me alive. I don't care. I can't sleep.
So you're Maverick's resident, I want to say, content creator when it comes to a lot of the social media posts that we put out there. You created the Come On England Shareable that we put out there. It didn't go well, but the spirit was there. So when you're designing content, we're going to be talking about how you can create shareable content for yourself. So shareable content, if you don't know what it is, essentially it's content that posts it online to get shared. It's value pieces. It's you can be statistics. It can be a lot of different things. But as long as it has the ability to go out there, get shared, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, that's the aim, isn't it? It depends. I mean, depends on what type of content. But yeah, usually it's big, bright, bold, share me sort of stuff.
Yeah, so this isn't the engagement post as in, oh hey, check out this this cute dog I've got. That is kind of shareable content, but we're kind of talking about branded shareable content.
Stuff you made for your brand.
Yeah, it will be obviously designed, has a message, has a value, and also has the call to action to get in touch, whatever you want them to do. So take an action, isn't it? Yeah,
it is essentially. I think when talking about branded shareable content, making it for your brand. It always depends on obviously your brand itself or what target audience you are, but usually at the moment it's like when we talk about a lot this clickbaitable sort of world we live in. It's kind of like I need to get people to stop instantly and have a look at my phone.
Do you find certain industries are easier than others?
Yeah, I'd say because it's the same, and it's like news normally sells. They push certain news because of the way it sells. Do you know what I mean? So I find like if you're in a certain industry, obviously it'd be easy for others. Depends on your niche, doesn't it? Like if you're in a niche industry, then it's going to be, I guess, harder depending on
harder to gain attention. Yeah, if it's got broad appeal, where it affects everyone in their day-to-day lives, I'd say it's easier to create it. But if it's more niche, it is harder to get that shareable.
I mean, in terms of value, I think it wouldn't vary so much from you, but in terms of huge sheer numbers, I guess it definitely depends on your niche or your target audience, for sure.
So do you think, in terms of the shareable content you create, do you find people enjoy more statistics? Do they enjoy industry news? Or do they enjoy like company news? Like, hey, we've just launched a new program. What do you feel works the best in terms of like visuals, stopping people to look and share?
Normally statistics, big numbers, or like when you've got like big bold text and it stops someone straight away, they think, oh, that's interesting, I need to read that, whatever. But it does work with like almost like from a community aspect as well. If you've got something that someone's genuinely it's gonna mean something to them, so it doesn't have to be local, it could be like a cause or something, that'll stop people. If you're like telling them instantly, you've got a picture, or if you're creating branded content.
Without going to controversial or political, it's people use statistics essentially to back up their arguments a lot of the time. So if you've done a research or a poll and it kind of affirms to them what they already want to know or they want to believe, the statistics do get shared to be like, oh hey, maybe 80% of people enjoy burgers, so that's why we should enjoy burgers into our restaurant. Something like that.
Yeah, it's like with I remember recently I did one and it was a LinkedIn one, and it was about LinkedIn. So it was like LinkedIn throttling. LinkedIn off, like, did you know?
Yeah,
LinkedIn
the new connection limit.
And I think the fact that it's done quite well, I think, is because the fact that a lot of people didn't know about it, and it was like because it's this big boldy statistics. It's really engaging for people because they, not everybody knows the ins and outs stuff.
Well, asking them if it was a good idea.
Yeah, and it wasn't just that; it's the fact if you pair that with the topic that you've picked, and then your visually striking branding, and if you can get, if you can manipulate that to your advantage, you will get massive engagement.
And people will obviously share it with their network saying, oh, did you know this? They're actually pulling this out. Like, statistics could be like an afterthought. It could just be the question itself. Oh, they are doing that? Okay. And that's a value piece in there. So it kind of has a lot of different elements to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, they definitely match. Like I said, like you're stopping them with the visuals, but then the content itself, like I just said, is getting people thinking, oh, I want to talk about this. I'm passionate about the subject, or I didn't know. I'm going to comment. I'm going to engage, and then that just goes off, pops off from there.
So design-wise, branding, how branded do you want to be with these shareables?
Well, it depends, because normally you'd want your branding on there, because if it does, in the case it went massively viral, then you feel like it's like a missed opportunity. But then you're still, even if you didn't, you're still getting people through onto your content. But yeah, I would always say brands, everything. Really.
So logo, brand colors.
Yeah, we'll keep it consistent.
Slide.
Yeah, keep it consistent. Like I know we've had conversation about this before, but definitely consistency is king. Like don't be scared to vary in what you're doing, but yeah, just like you don't have to like say like everything has to be one color, blah blah blah. Like you can vary that just to get people's attention. But if you stick to your like sort of brand guidelines or whatever, you'll be good. It'll look good.
Obviously, because of what you do, you have to keep it creative. It's a creative role, so that's why you have to use the tools you're given, use the brand guidelines that you're given, and then just kind of bend them to your will to get people to look and then share out there. Call to action wise. Always at the end, as we probably go through it and everyone, is there a limit to how many actions that you want to get people to take during the sharing of the content?
I don't think so. Like when it comes to actual calls or actions itself, I always find that if you keep it on the lower end, you don't want to like bombard people. You want them to do this, that, this.
Like and subscribe, comment 3 times. Turn around, spin.
Who's your family? All this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, no, don't stick to that. You want to be very clear on what the purpose of this content is and what you want them to do. It's like, for example, if you were going to do like a paid advert, you'd really think about what is exactly you want this advert to get from this advert. You can kind of do that with shareables. You want to think, what do I want from this? Do I want to be able to follow in? Do I want them to click to my website?
Yeah.
Am I just trying to...
Not asking too much of them.
Yeah.
In a sense, just like,
that's right.
The shareable content isn't really... It's a sales tool, but I'd say it's more of a tool to get you noticed in a sense. You're not going to sell from a shareable in a sense.
Well, you could do, but because there's always that. But it's more.
I'm in a direct sale.
I understand.
It'd be the funneling for
it. But it's almost like building trust in a sense, isn't it? Like if you're like a newish brand, if you get the more visual, the eyeballs that you get on yourself, then and people constantly seeing your brand, it's like building trust with them, isn't it? You're building a rapport with your audience. It's Maverrik, and
Yeah, when I'm doing research for articles and I see these shareables come out with statistics, I do check where it's coming from, because obviously you want to make sure that it's viable information. But then you see a company appear again and again and again and again and again, and you do have an affiliation into what's being said to the person sharing it. Because your shareable content will be shown all the time, and then with your little brand at the bottom, people will associate your business then with the information provided.
That you're putting, or the style. It could even be your style. People weirdly could sort of warm towards the style of your shareable content, and like they'd much rather. It's like, say, some people like to read statistics, whereas some people like the infographics, which actually most people do because it's stopped and they retain information better. But that just sits better with someone. So that's why you get some people that go to certain places for news or certain content or whatever it is. So there's always something to think about.
Okay, so we've got the branding, we've got the design. Now let's go into the copy. How much is too much?
I feel like this is a difficult one, but I personally feel like you shouldn't have loads of copy, because I feel like, me personally, if I see a huge wall of text, unless it's like really meaningful content, I'm more likely to not stop and read it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll read the headline, and then if the headline isn't appealing or attracting, and if I do see a big block of text, I'm kind of like, well, I don't have time to just delve into this
spend ages
one
reading
point.
It. Like an essay,
Yeah.
I mean, definitely have some meat to your post, like for sure, because you don't want to just have like one thing, like one sentence, and it's like, or not even that, few words, and people are like, oh, it's kind of underwhelming. You still want that value, but just don't, it's the same with the call to action, just don't bombard people. Even so, like, say if you're, you could always, if you're doing an article or something, you could break that article down and then send them somewhere. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To read the full article, but just like summarize it, or just try.
It's a great content strategy to create something big and then chunk it down into little bits, which get people involved into the bigger pieces. So it kind of lengthens the amount of time and value you've got from that one post, because you could spend days and days writing a really great article, but then it's just there and it exists. So what you want to do then is kind of give it more life and longevity by breaking it down into the shareable content, like you said.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess it kind of breaks down again to who your audience is. Like I'm sure there's millions of articles and research on different audiences that they react differently to, whatever. But definitely, I'd look into that.
So all the shareable content that goes ignored, or ones you see on your post, you think, why have they done that? What's your key advice for those people?
I think consistency. I mean, I know we said about vary from colours and that, but if you haven't got a team behind you, or if you can't find a way of doing it, or use a cool app or whatever, just try and keep it simple and bold to attract. You need to attract people's attention, because you're against hundreds and hundreds of posts every day, and you've got to stand out.
If you don't have a design team behind you, don't be too ambitious.
No, don't try and do. You don't want to end up being on the page of how not to design or something like that.
Yeah, you'll be on some Twitter thread just saying, "Look at this guy."
And just be true to yourself and your audience, I think, for sure. And again, you're always, like we've talked about time and time again, you're always trying to create value for your consumer. So that's the only reason I'll come back to you. So think value always first, and keep it simple and consistent.
Fantastic, great advice. This has been Maverrik Live. Thank you, Josh, for coming down.
Thank you for having me.
If you are looking to create more shareable content, don't forget to check out our website. We've got some great content tips there, and we've also got our content bootcamp coming up in August, which is fantastic. I think it's on the 3rd of August when we kick off that. It's 4 weeks of some great content training for you there. Don't forget to like and subscribe. That's all we ask for here. Nothing more, nothing less. Thanks again, Josh, for coming down.
Thanks for having me.
And we will see you next time for Maverrik Live.